Have you ever met someone who seems to live only for others? The person who's always there, always ready to help, no matter the cost to themselves. Today, I want to tell you about a man named Liam Carter, and his story might sound familiar to some of you. Liam lived in a small apartment in Austin, Texas. By day, he was a community organizer, a local hero. He helped families find housing, volunteered at shelters, and mentored kids who were going down the wrong path. To everyone who knew him, Liam had a heart of gold. He was the guy you called when you were in trouble, the one who would drop everything to lend a hand. His smile was a constant source of comfort in his community. But what nobody saw were the cracks starting to form just beneath that cheerful surface. You see, Liam gave, and with every act of kindness, he felt a little bit emptier inside. It was a pattern that started in his childhood. His parents had raised him with a simple, powerful motto: help others first. They'd say, kindness is the most valuable currency. And he took that to heart. He truly believed it. So, he worked long, grueling hours. Not just at his job, but afterward too. He'd stay late, helping a friend move. He'd listen all night to someone pouring out their problems. He'd buy lunch for a coworker who was short on cash. Giving wasn't just something he did. It was who he was. But this constant, one-way stream of giving started to take a serious toll. While Liam was busy building up everyone else, his own life was slowly falling apart. He had almost no money saved. His personal belongings were few and far between. And time for himself, that was a luxury he couldn't afford. His small apartment was a testament to his selflessness, cluttered not with his own things, but with reminders of the people he had helped. There were piles of thank you notes, old clothes he'd collected for donations, and a then half-empty containers from meals he'd cooked for his neighbors. His space wasn't really his. It was an extension of his service to others. One particularly cold and rainy evening, Liam dragged himself home after a long shift at the homeless shelter. His feet were soaked. His back was a knot of pain, and his stomach was growling with a hunger he'd been ignoring all day. He opened his fridge, the dim light flickering on, and a harsh reality hit him. It was almost completely bare. A half-empty carton of milk, a wilting piece of lettuce, and not much else. He had spent his entire day making sure others were fed, yet he had forgotten to leave anything for himself. Standing there in his small, quiet kitchen, the sound of the rain tapping against his window, Liam felt a profound emptiness. It wasn't just his stomach that was empty, it was his spirit. He looked around at the thank you cards and the worn-out items, and for the first time, they didn't feel like trophies of kindness. They felt like symbols of his own neglect. The weight of everyone else's needs, which he had carried so willingly for so long, suddenly felt crushing. He had given away so much of himself that there was barely anything left of Liam. This is a story about a helper, but it's also a warning. We call people like Liam heroes, and they are, but even heroes need to save themselves sometimes. Liam's journey from this moment of crisis is one of learning a new, harder lesson you can't pour from an empty cup. He had to learn to balance his incredible compassion for others with compassion for himself. He had to learn that saying no sometimes is not selfish, but necessary for survival. His story is a powerful reminder for anyone who gives a lot of themselves. Your well-being matters too. It's not just okay to take care of yourself. It's essential. If you see yourself in Liam's story, remember that your kindness is a gift, but it shouldn't come at the cost of your own happiness and health. He sat on the couch, completely exhausted, his eyes fixed on the notes pinned to his wall, little pieces of paper, each a testament to his generosity. One read, "Thank you for always being there for me. I don't know what I would do without you." He'd read those words 100 times, but tonight, they felt different. A pang of emptiness hit him, sharp and sudden. All this gratitude from others felt hollow because, in his relentless mission to be there for everyone else, he had completely forgotten himself, even the people closest to him, his friends and family. The ones he had always supported without a second thought had started to take his kindness for granted. It became a constant stream of requests. A cousin called, not to ask how he was, but for a loan. A colleague messaged, not to chat, but to ask for yet another favor at work. A friend needed help moving over the weekend. The requests never stopped, yet Liam's own problems were piling up silently in the background, ignored and unheard. He started noticing the pattern, a truth that was as painful as it was clear. People seemed to love him for what he could give, not for who he was. They saw him as a resource, a problem solver, a bottomless well of support. But who was Liam when he wasn't giving? He didn't even know anymore. The weight of this realization was crushing. It all came to a breaking point one night. Liam had spent the entire day, from morning till dusk, helping a struggling single mother move into her new apartment. He hauled boxes, assembled furniture, and even bought her groceries to get her started. He did it all with a smile, feeling that familiar warmth of helping someone in need. But when he finally got home, dragging his tired body through the door, he was met with darkness. He flicked the light switch, but nothing happened. A cold dread washed over him. He'd forgotten to pay a crucial bill. The electricity was cut off. He sank onto his couch in the pitch-black apartment, the silence amplifying his exhaustion. In that moment, the full weight of his own neglected life came crashing down on him. Everything he had given away so freely, his money, his energy, his time, his care, had left him with absolutely nothing for himself. For the first time in his life, Liam didn't feel generous or kind. He felt bitter, angry, and utterly empty. He was a provider who couldn't even provide light for his own home. The next morning, Liam found himself sitting by the calm waters of Lady Bird Lake, the early sun warming his face. As he watched the gentle ripples on the water, he reflected on the darkness of the night before. Giving is noble. It's a beautiful part of being human. But constant self-neglect isn't noble. It's dangerous. It's a slow burn that leaves you hollowed out and resentful. He remembered a piece of advice a mentor had given him years ago, words he had admired but never truly absorbed. You can't pour from an empty cup, Liam. To help others sustainably, you must care for yourself first. It was a hard truth to swallow. His entire identity was built on being the giver. But for the first time, sitting there by the lake, he truly accepted it. To genuinely care for others, he first had to learn to care for himself. This isn't just Liam's story. It's a story many of us live. We're taught that giving is the ultimate virtue, but we're rarely taught the art of receiving or the necessity of self-preservation. If you feel like you're constantly pouring for others while your own cup is running dry, please know that it's okay to pause. It's okay to say, no. It's not selfish to prioritize your own well-being. It's essential. True strength isn't just about lifting others up. It's also about knowing when to sit down and rest, to refill your own spirit, so you can continue to shine your light in the world without burning out. Have you ever felt completely drained from helping everyone around you? It's like you're the go-to person for every problem, every favor, every crisis. You give, and one day you wake up and realize there's nothing left for yourself. This is the story of Liam, and it might just be your story too. Liam was the guy everyone could count on. Need help moving? Liam's there. Need a shoulder to cry on at 2 a.m. Liam's your man. He poured his time, energy, and even his money into helping others, believing that was the definition of a good person. But his own life was starting to fall apart. He was exhausted, constantly stressed, and felt like he was running on empty. His own dreams. They were gathering dust on a shelf he never had time to look at. The joy he once found in helping had turned into a heavy burden, a crushing obligation. He was on the verge of complete burnout, and his relationships, the very things he was trying to nurture, were starting to strain under the pressure. He felt lost, resentful, and utterly alone, even when surrounded by people. That's when Liam hit his breaking point. He realized something had to change. It wasn't that he wanted to stop helping people. It was that he couldn't continue living this way. He had to learn to help himself first. The first step was the hardest. He had to learn to say one tiny, 2-letter word. No. It felt selfish and unnatural at first. Saying no to a friend who needed a ride, or no to taking on an extra project for a colleague. Each no was filled with guilt. But with each one, he reclaimed a small piece of his time, a little bit of his energy. He started scheduling me time in his calendar, just like he would any other important appointment. This was his time to rest, to read a book, to simply sit in silence and breathe. He also started paying attention to his physical well-being. Instead of grabbing a quick, unhealthy snack between tasks, he made time to cook and eat proper meals. He started a simple exercise routine, just walking for 30 minutes a day. It wasn't about a dramatic transformation. It was about honoring his body's basic needs. He realized he couldn't pour from an empty cup, and for months, his cup had been bone dry. He even set financial boundaries. He created a small personal savings fund. Before, any extra cash would go to someone else's emergency. Now, a portion was set aside for his own future, his own security. This simple act was a powerful statement to himself. My future matters too. To reconnect with a person he'd lost, Liam started journaling. He wrote down his own goals, his dreams, the things that made him feel alive. It was a space just for him, a place to untangle his thoughts and rediscover his own voice. He wasn't just a helper anymore. He was a person with aspirations. Slowly but surely, the constant exhaustion began to fade. The fog in his mind started to clear. And something amazing happened. His relationships didn't fall apart. In fact, they got better. His friendships became more balanced. The people who truly cared for him understood and respected his new boundaries. His interactions became more genuine because when he did give, it was from a place of abundance, not obligation. Months later, Liam was still the kind, generous person he had always been, but with a crucial difference. He was helping, but he was doing it sustainably. He mentored new colleagues, but within a structured program. He volunteered, but he signed up for specific shifts and stuck to them. He gave his time and energy, but only when he truly had it to give. His friends noticed the change. He was more present in conversations, more energetic, and genuinely happier. The old, weary Liam was gone, replaced by someone who was vibrant and full of life. Liam eventually shared his journey at a local community talk. Standing in front of the crowd, he said, "I used to believe that selfless giving meant giving until you had nothing left. I gave away my time, my energy, my peace of mind, and I learned the hard way that you have to take care of yourself first. It's not selfish, it's essential. The greatest gift you can give the world is a healthy, happy, and whole version of you." If Liam's story resonates with you, maybe it's time to check in with yourself. Are you giving from a full cup, or are you running on fumes? Remember, setting boundaries is not about pushing people away. It's about having the energy to be there for them in the long run. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to take care of you. Subscribe for more stories that inspire and empower.